Okay, let's welcome back to the show Texas Congressman Ronny Jackson. Congressman, it's great to have you on. So you're among the 41 Republican lawmakers calling for Education Secretary Miguel Cardona to resign. Can you tell us why?
Well, Liz, this is just another example of how the Biden administration and the Democrats in general have used the executive branch of government that's controlled by Biden as a political weapon against their political adversary. We are now finding out that this letter that the National School Board Association, that Ms. Garcia, who's the president, wrote to the Attorney General, asking for parents to be treated as domestic terrorists and to be investigated by the FBI, and for them to use the Patriot Act and all these other things that are intended not to be used against American citizens, to be used against parents that are exercising their First Amendment right and fulfilling their responsibility as parents to find out and to ask questions and to protest some of the stuff that's going on in the lives of their kids with this radical critical race theory and some of the other socialist garbage they're trying to push down their throat. We find out now that Secretary Cardona, the Secretary of Education, actually sent an email requesting that Ms. Garcia write this letter so that they could again use that, send that to the Attorney General, so the Attorney General could use it as an excuse to send the FBI and the Department of Justice after these parents. And we find out they were coordinating the language of this with the White House and everything. This is unbelievable that we now have the Department of Education, the Department of Justice, and the White House and the FBI all involved in this coming after American citizens and treating them, naming them as domestic terrorists. This is not something that this country stands for. We cannot put up with this in this country. This cannot stand. So we are going to find out what happened in this. And this is, like I say, with everything else, Liz, we may not find out in the next few months because they still control the White House, the House of Representatives, and the U.S. Senate. But in 11 months, we're going to have the House of Representatives back. And we're going to have the gavel. And we're going to decide what gets investigated and what doesn't get investigated. And we will find the answers to what happened in this particular instance.
And Congressman, the Education Secretary rewarded Viola Garcia, who created that letter, saying that their parents are domestic terrorists. He gave her a position on the National Assessment Board for the Education Department. So, I'd like your response to this. The White House Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates blasted your letter to Fox News in a Thursday statement, claiming it is based on a, quote, weak, desperate lie. Can you take that on?
Well, that's ridiculous. It's not a weak, desperate lie. There's objective data that shows exactly what happened here. We know based on emails that were released what happened. This is not speculation on any level. This is actual fact. They're just trying to cover up what they've done. I'm telling you right now, the National School Board Association, most of the major teachers unions are doing incredible damage to our country right now and to our children. We need to get rid of all of them. I'm a big proponent of just getting rid of the Department of Education altogether. The federal government, in my mind, has no business whatsoever in the education of our kids. That is a state and a local issue, and it needs to remain a state and local issue. We need the federal government out of the education of our kids, because when we let the federal government in, this kind of crap starts happening. They start using the Department of Education as a weapon, and they start pushing stuff like critical race theory out on our kids. And furthermore, the school boards, the White House gave billions of dollars to the schools for them to get our kids back into school and to teach our kids. And we now found out that a lot of this stuff was given to these teachers unions and given to people that are pushing the critical race theory, to teach critical race theory and things. It's a very corrupt system that we have right now, the Department of Education. And Secretary Cardona is at the head of this.
Congressman Jackson, thanks for joining us. We'll have you back on again soon. It's good to see you.